The Federal Indian Boarding School Initiative revealed nearly 1,000 indigenous children died while forcibly attending federal boarding schools from the 1820s until the 1960s. Details from the U.S. Bureau of Indian Affairs report quantify much of the trauma experienced in this hidden history. CBS News Detroit's Jack Springate joins us in the studio after listening to leaders from the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe. So overall, Jack, what did they say about this report?
Well, Terrell, out of the 5 boarding schools the U.S. government supported in Michigan, one of them was in Mount Pleasant, and it isn't a distant memory for members of the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe. While the report is a decent start to acknowledging this attempt to systematically erase Native American culture, many are still waiting for an apology.
It's unfortunate, but my great uncle, Wilson Johnson, perished while he was a student at the Mount Pleasant Indian Industrial Boarding School, and he perished when he was only 17 years old.
And he would become one of more than 200 children to die at the school, according to Johnson.
These are devastating ill effects of the American Indian boarding school era that we are still recovering from.
Tearing children away from their families, forced assimilation, and physical abuse all contribute to the generational trauma Johnson says stemmed from these so-called boarding schools.
You'll see survivors did not want to talk about the experiences there because it was too painful. It still is too painful for many, but the work is being done, and it is being done in a safe space.
The Federal Indian Boarding School Initiative is part of that work, spearheaded by U.S. Secretary of the Interior Deb Haaland, the first Native American to serve in the U.S. cabinet. The report came with several suggestions on how to make up for the damage these schools caused, starting with an apology.
The acknowledgement and apology on behalf of the U.S. government for the role they play is important for the trust and for the understanding of Native communities to know that there is some hope out there. I think one of the most important things within these recommendations is the opportunity for further education, funding, and the ability to help share the history and tell the story of the boarding school era. It's very important to help the tribes lead that initiative.
Terrell, there's so much to unpack from that report, and not just talking about the context either. You can see it for yourself in this story on our website, and you can also learn more about the boarding school era by visiting the Zibbawing Center for yourself.
All right, definitely an interesting story. Appreciate your reporting, Jack.
Thanks.